Can you hear me now? Try now. Is it working now? Hello. Ah, come on. Really? Can you hear me? All right, cool. We're back. All right. Here we go. All right, we're back on the podcast. We had a little situation with the audio there in the live show, but we are back. All right, so welcome, Turtle Riders. We got a great episode here tonight. It's going to be about not only the final chapter of book club, but a special bonus we'll start with. I'll tell you guys about our day in court today. So as you guys know, Rian Waters, who is suing me and the two companies that I own, and he's getting assistance from Michael Gaffney, who we've also defeated in court. And we've talked about, you know, what the purpose of these lawsuits is. It's just another form of censorship. They don't like the things that you're saying, the truths that you are saying, and it's just an attempt to kind of like bankrupt you into not talking. And so luckily, Bristol wrote a very heartwarming piece last week about what's been happening here, because it's not just what he's happening to me. I mean, nobody gives a shit about me. But it's the fact that he's doing this. He's also suing a woman who has alleged domestic violence against him, right? And we can't be having that, right? Like, that's immoral. You can't, if we're going to start suing people who accuse you of, you know, beating the shit out of them, right, then no one's going to come forward anymore. That can't happen in a just society. So we went into court today, right? And it was Sam and I and the lawyer, right? And then Bristol showed up, and we had a few Turtle Riders there. It was great, and y'all wore your gear. That was fantastic, all the way in Springfield, Massachusetts. And, you know, so my lawyer got up there with, I just sat in the back, and my lawyer got up there with Samantha, and basically the kid ranted on about, I'd never seen this individual in person before, but he was a lot smaller than I thought, and he was, I think we can agree, the handful of people that were there, he seemed very nervous. He was shaking a lot. I don't know why. I'm a very friendly person. All I want to do is get along with everyone. I mean no one any harm. Certainly, even terrible people like him. But he was definitely shaking a lot. I think he was kind of surprised to see not only me there, because it was not a hearing for me, it was a hearing for Samantha, but all the other Turtle Riders wearing turtle gear. And I think he realized, you're alone in this, dude. You got nothing. We have a gigantic community against you, right, that are backing this woman up and Turtle Boy up, right? So good luck with that. And he actually offered with her to drop it, to drop the, just out of nowhere, I'm just going to drop it, right? Now, Bristol and I disagree about the reasons. He just offered her to drop it, and it was dropped, right? Now, her take is that the blogs exposed him and the weaknesses of his case and embarrassed him, and he felt humiliated, and he decided it's not worth it. My theory is he knows this is bullshit, right? But I think he was just trying to get close to her, right? Like, this is a girl who won't return any of his phone calls, any of his emails, and you've read all the messages, they're insane. He just wants to be close to her, right? That's my opinion. That's what I take from it. And this would ensure that he could stand directly next to her. And then, by dropping the lawsuit, now guess what he is in his little mind, right? Now he's a hero. You know what I mean? He's the good guy now. Oh, see, Sam? I'm not such a bad guy after all. I had this surefire lawsuit. I was going to win $125,000. I'm a poker pro, and I was going to take you to the cleaners. But you know what, Sam? Because I'm such a good guy, and you saw that a lot in his messages, he would constantly say, like, I'm a really good guy, Sam. You know, like this and that. Really narcissistic, this guy. And, you know, I think that's what he's trying to do, is prove that, you know, I'm a good guy, Sam. I let you off the hook, right? That's my opinion of it. So, you know, that was my take. I don't know if any of the people that actually witnessed it today are in here, if they want to share their thoughts about what they saw, but it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Anyway, so I wasn't even there for me. I got a hearing on the 15th. I'm not going. My lawyer's going to go. I just wanted to see him face to face. I looked at him the entire time. I just want to let him know, like, he refused to look at me in the eye. And I wasn't looking at him in like a threatening way or anything like that. I was just looking at him, just staring, right? He was sitting across the row from me. I just turned and stared. And every time he would kind of look in my direction, he would just look up and he would see my eyes just glued on him and like not blinking or anything. And then he would just turn his head quickly and look away because he couldn't do it. He couldn't look me in the eyes, right? He's not a man. He's a coward. And so, finally, when he got up there to speak about my situation, I actually wrote everything down, right? You can't record anything in there or anything like that. But so I wrote everything down. And there was one part of it that I transcribed that I just want to read to you people, right? Because it was so funny. And this is honest. First of all, you should have heard his voice, man. He talks and he's like shaking. He talks like a little girl. Like, that's the best way to describe it. Like, he's not a man, this person. And he goes, these particular defendants, they operate a blog that is like a public shaming device. I mean, they try to destroy lives. They have this Turtleboy graveyard, which is like all the lives they've ruined. If it was done by a normal person, it's not that threatening. But because it's done by him, it's extremely threatening. Right? So you actually mentioned the Turtleboy graveyard in court. A court stenographer wrote those words down. That's officially in the record, Turtleboy graveyard. And then the judge says, so he's ranting, and the judge just interrupts him. He's like, but you said your life was threatened. Because that's what he's alleging here, is that, like, Turtleboy threatened my life, which obviously is not true. Nobody threatened his life, right? I haven't even written about him. Bristol did, right? And she certainly didn't threaten his life. Now, if other people threaten his life as a result of our blog, that's not our problem, right? I don't encourage people to threaten to threaten anyone's lives, but you know what? I can't. If you do that, if you threaten someone's life, you're committing a crime. So that's on you now. You know what I mean? That's between, if Rian Waters wants to press charges against someone else who threatens him, go for it. I can't control that. That's between you and him, right? All we can control is our speech. The idea that we somehow have to limit our speech because someone might hear our speech and react violently as a result of that, not my problem. Not my problem. This whole idea that you can't yell fire in a crowded theater, that was a Supreme Court decision from 1917. It was called Schenck versus the United States. And that was used to outlaw handing out pamphlets during World War I. Right? Well, guess what? That's been overturned. So every time you hear someone say, like, well, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. Yeah, you can, motherfucker. You sure as fuck can. Better look up case law. Don't get it twisted. All right? And so he's like, yeah, judge, like, your life was threatened? And he said, yes. Not so much by him at that time, although there is a Supreme Court decision. He kept doing this. He kept, like, citing cases, and the judge had no fucking clue what he was talking about, right? There is a Supreme Court decision that says you're not allowed to launder your harassment through online websites. So he called it laundering harassment. I don't even know what that means, right? Like, it's money. Like this one, and then he quoted a threat that he got. He actually read this out loud. Now, you tell me who said this. You tell me who said this. Rian Waters, come on, pal. Come on, play. Come and play, tough guy. With me, little boy. I want to choke you out, put you to sleep again. Come abuse me, motherfucker. I'll be your Huckleberry boy. Come get it, pussy. Who said that? Who said that? Yeah, Brett, I didn't say that. I didn't say it, right? I didn't say it. If Brett said it, I can't control what Brett said. I can't control it, right? But as soon as I heard Huckleberry Boy, I'm like, oh my fucking God. He read a quote out loud from Brett. Oh my goodness, right? And then he goes on to say, the judge is like, who's that from? And he's like, that was from Brett Killoran, who's actually the co-host on defendant Aidan Carney's show. And the judge is like, but it's not from the defendant Carney. AKA, like, Brett Killoran's not on trial here, dude. He has no idea how the fucking First Amendment works. And then she's just like, so I see from the record that the request for a temporary restraining order was denied on the 2nd of January. The preliminary judgment hearing is scheduled for next week. So he was there to actually get a restraining order. I believe might have been against me. I'm not entirely sure. I understand the situation, but I'm not hearing any actual threats, she said. So what she said, she's like, what Brett even said is not a threat, right? We are talking about protected speech here, so I am not going to issue a restraining order. I mean, it's like, how many times do judges have to tell these losers this? How many times do we have to get up in front of a judge in a stupid libel suit only to have these morons informed what the First Amendment is? It's the first freaking one, right? It's literally the first fucking one. That's why it's called the First Amendment. They're like, you know what? We need to protect speech. You can say things. You can be mean as fuck, dude. Like, that's kind of what the book is about. This idea we have to be nice. No, you don't. You don't have to be nice to anyone. If you're terrible, I'm going to say awful things about you. And guess what? I have every fucking right to do it. I'm going to do it 20 times out of 20, and I ain't never going to stop, motherfucker. And if you want to stop me, you're going to have to kill me. Because I'm not going to stop telling you what a vile piece of shit you are. I refuse, okay? I will not be silenced. Our founding fathers risked their goddamn lives, right? The odds of the founding fathers actually living through the revolution were like 10%. Like the odds, when they knew when they declared war on England, probably going to lose this one. Probably. We might die, but it's going to be worth it, right? It's worth the shot. Because they're going against the single greatest superpower that has ever lived, the country that controlled every ocean in the world, right? British. You can't fight Britain. You can be independent? The fuck, are you crazy? The fuck's wrong with you? They risked their lives for this. The least I can do is exercise the rights that they sacrificed everything for. I would be spitting in their faces if somebody like Rian Waters or Michael Gaffney or Gordon Davis could get me to shut up. Ain't gonna happen. That's not how freedom works. We don't give in to terrorists. We don't do it. Sorry. All right. And one creepy thing that he did say about Samantha, I will say this, because he like served the wrong house, right? She didn't even know about the court date today. I guess her old house got served, and he said, I didn't know she moved, but I had suspicion that she did. That was fucking creepy when he said that. It's like you had suspicion that she moved? That sounds like you're following her around. You know what I mean? It's like a fucking weird thing to say. I had a suspicion that she moved. Like fucking the fuck's wrong with you, dude? I thought you were like living it up, playing poker, taking over the world. You had a suspicion? Kind of weird. Anyway, let's see what you people saying. Let's see. Attorney Volva, you sir are a legend. Love this. Yeah. So let's refer back to the affidavit stating Ryan is going down a blaze of glory here. Yeah. I refuse to dance on his grave because my situation is not over yet, right? And I refuse to give him any ammo to use against me in court, right? And so I'm just going to be here telling the truth. Everything I've told you is factual. Those quotes I was giving you were statements that were made in public court today. There's nothing libelous about any of this, right? If my opinion is he's a skinny, scrawny little piece of shit, that's my opinion, right? I don't want people to go after him and threaten him. I don't condone that. I don't condemn it, but I don't condone it, right? Because it's none of my business what your speech is, right? Your speech was between you and him. And if you break the law, then that's on you. But it ain't between me. So anyway, what are the odds he drops your case? Probably not. I can't imagine him dropping the case. You should have seen him in court today. He had like a freaking briefcase, guys. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Like a accordion-style briefcase full of documents. And we had to sit through some of the most boring cases you've ever seen. Like, boring. You know, lawyers representing clients that weren't there and shit. It was like the most boring shit, like an hour long. And finally they got to ours, and that was like the juicy part. The second the judge mentioned Turtleboy, right, all the heads turned in the court. The bailiff, everybody's eyes perked up. All of a sudden, court got more interesting. You knew every single person in that courtroom knew what Turtleboy was. Everybody in Western Mass knows about Turtleboy, right? Especially in the courts. There isn't a lawyer or a judge who isn't familiar with the blog. I can't even have cases heard in Worcester District Court anymore because there isn't a single judge in that building, right, who can hear my case. Not one. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a fact. Anyway, I forget where I was going with this, but yeah, he brought all this stuff with him, and he was still unprepared. There were still multiple times when he's like, Judge, Your Honor, I needed more time for this. I forget the case law that was cited, but what about ex parte? I guess he like screwed up too as part of the process. The judge, it's funny watching pro se clients because judges they have a lot more leniency with them. And they're like kind of like thinking in their head, like, yeah, moron. You know, I know you know what you went on LegalZoom last night. You looked some things up. You have no fucking clue what you're talking about. It was a shit show. Like, it was an absolute disgrace that this judge, you know, is hearing this. This is not why we have courts. This is not why courts exist, so these fucking clown shows can go on. It's a fucking disgrace that this happens in this country. Absolute fucking disgrace. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know if you guys have any questions about that before we kind of jump into the Facebook shit, right? About chapter 19 and kind of finish up everything here. But let me know if you do. Because I kind of got into the gist of it last time in chapter 19. I guess we'll just kind of jump right into it. And I'll answer questions, I guess, as we go along. But we talked about like this idea that tech platforms control speech. And people will argue, well, oh, these goddamn libertarians will argue, oh, well, it's a private company. They can do whatever they want, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm sorry. No. First of all, it's a monopoly, all right? If you don't like it, where are you going to go for speech? Nowhere. And don't tell me I can just fucking write in my goddamn diary, right? That's not the same thing, right? Because the President of the United States and the media uses these platforms, they have become the de facto public square. And you can't silence speech in a public square. So don't tell me it's a private company. You're not going to tell me Verizon's a private company and they can be like, well, we're just not going to let you talk on the phone, right? Or UPS is a private company. We're just not going to deliver packages because we don't like the things that you're writing inside the packages. Stop it. You're a common carrier. You're a utility. That's it. Your job is to exist, not to police what is happening within your existence. Stop it. You're too big for that. You're too important. You're not some little rinky-dink company. You're fucking Facebook. 2 billion people are on you. You can't just kick people off for no reason. Stop it. Who aren't breaking the law. It's ridiculous. And eventually that will change. That's my prediction. It has to. Congress right now, they're too old to understand this shit. But I hope down the line, once people realize the power that these people have, they control our speech. No human being should be allowed to have that kind of power. Nobody should, right? I mean, the things we're saying are not that bad. Yeah, it's a little colorful, but like, it ain't that bad, you know? And so our problems with Facebook started before anyone does. Now a lot of people are having problems with Facebook. We invented Facebook problems. We invented it, right? We've been having Facebook problems before it was cool, right? Like, we first started getting taken down in 2016. I remember the first time. Who remembers Nate Pickens? He was like an old Mosaic idiot who called us racist all the time or whatever. Nate Pickens called another black guy, Mesvin Besher, a house N-word. And so we screenshotted what he said, and we posted it on the Facebook page. We're like, oh, look at Nate Pickens, what he's saying. Calling another black guy the N-word because he doesn't agree with them. That's racist. And we got in trouble for that, right? Because the N-word was in it, I guess. I don't know. But yet his post was still up. But our screenshot of it got taken down. That's happened so many times. So many times. Right? And whatever. I'm like, we didn't get a suspension or anything. But then more and more shit got taken down. And it accelerated once Kevin Lynch came into the picture. Now, I spoke with Kevin Lynch on New Year's. He actually wished me a happy New Year's. Right? And I said, look at Kevin. I don't like you. I'll never like you. Okay? But I do enjoy the relative peace we have right now, right? Because, I think, and we actually listened to me. I'm like, I think you got the blog all wrong, man. Like, it's not a hate blog. Like, this isn't a hate blog. We just call out douchebags. That's all. And we're not blogging about you anymore, so what does it matter? And we almost kind of agreed on it. It was kind of weird. But anyway, when we first started blogging about Kevin Lynch because he didn't want to shovel his sidewalk and he freaked out about it. It was like we didn't think much of it. And then he goes to the Worcester police station, files a police report against me and Brett. He's convinced that we're threatening to rape his niece, which we're not. And he just reports us 24/7. We had him on the show in July or June, if you recall. And he admitted that he spends 3 hours a day reporting our posts. A lot of people think DD is the biggest problem. Nah. Kevin Lynch he's the alpha male when it comes to this shit. He invented how to take down Facebook pages. He's better at it than anyone I've ever encountered. He's the biggest, the most effective Turtle Boy villain of all time as far as inflicting damage on us. DD doesn't hold a candle to him. Doesn't hold the candle. Yeah. And so, exactly. People like not blogging about him or his 15-year-old niece. Yeah, I swear to God, we've never done it. His niece is always 15, by the way. God bless her soul. Anyway, he starts mass reporting us, and next thing you know, we start getting like bans. It starts as a 24-hour ban, and then it was a 3-day, then a 7-day, and then I'm like expecting the next one will be 14. It jumps right to 30, and 30 is the maximum, right? And so we started getting these in the summer of 2016, these 30-day bans. And I'm like, we can't grow during those times. We're like looking at traffic, it's dying. We start making a backup page, right? And the backup page actually, I think we had like 25,000 on our main page, but the backup page we got to like 12,000 pretty quickly, right? And so like, okay, when that one gets suspended, we'll just use this one. And it got suspended a couple more times. And then we started getting the shadow ban thing, like this notification that says like what you're posting for 7 more days will not appear in anyone's news feed. So we're basically invisible. It's like, okay. And it's like, now what? So traffic is dying and we're like, fucking, what the hell's going on here? But whatever. So we go and get a lawyer. I talked to my lawyer, Rob White, and very competent guy. And we talk about the issue. He agrees. Facebook is a public utility. It's a common carrier. And more importantly, the terms of service, he read them all over. And he's a lawyer, you know. He deals with internet defamation and stuff like that. He's like reading all. He's like, this is a legally binding contract. And you agree to follow their rules. And they agree not to take you down. The things that you're showing me that you're taken down for, like have a nice day. Like that was the thing. We were intentionally writing ridiculous things like everybody love each other and stuff like that. And it gets taken down. Right? And so he's like, these aren't violations of the terms of service. They're violating the terms of service by taking you down when you're not violating the terms of service. So we write a demand letter to Facebook. And we actually hear back from them. We get a call back from Facebook's legal department out of Washington, D.C., and we get a conference call with the lawyer. There's a woman, I forget her name, and we have like an hour-long conference call. And he tells her the problems, and he's like, look, this is the whole issue here. And she admits that should not have happened. It was a mistake. We will restore your account because we were on one of those 30-day bans at the time. Boom. This is on the day Donald Trump was actually elected president. And we got our page back that day. And all of a sudden, traffic starts exploding. This is also right around the time I hired South Shore Turtle Girl and a few others. And next thing you know, we were averaging like 1 million page views a month. Less than that when the page was suspended. But 1 million's not bad. That increased rapidly, man, because of Facebook and these new bloggers, right? It went to like in January of 2017, it was like 5 million, and then 1.9 million in February. And then almost 3 million in March. And then in April, 4 million. It was insane. And then we stagnated at a solid 3 million every month. It was crazy, right? Life was good. And we had no Facebook problems ever since we had this lawyer. And she specifically said, look, if this ever happens in the future, ever, you call me, I'm available, I'll fix it for you. I'm like, I felt so good because I'm like, we got a contact now. This is awesome. And we had no problems with Facebook, none, for like months. It was great. Business was booming. Life was good. 2017 was an awesome year. And then November 28th, 2017 rolls around. A day that will live in infamy, right? The day before, we had blogged about Didi Delgado, who is a Black Lives Matter activist who's probably the most over-the-top, patently absurd social justice warrior who has ever existed. Like she's so radical that she thinks Sean King is like racist and, you know, sexist and all this stuff. Like she's blocked by Sean King. That's how bad she is. And she has reparations, as you know. She's almost like a caricature. When you explain Didi to people, you're like, yeah, there's this like angry black chick who demands white women pay her money every week, and they do. They pay her like thousands of dollars, and then she goes on vacations to Aruba and shit like that and just doesn't care. And then she writes about like, you know, how she needs to get her pussy licked on Facebook and like not enough guys are doing that and she just needs some dick. And she's fucking absurd. Like you go on her page, it's like, I can't believe this person's real. So obviously it was a good blog, whatever. And it's all true. This woman is ripping off and taking advantage of white guilt. So we blog about it. So her woke army comes after us the next day and starts mass reporting us for hate speech. And they're really organized. They're like, everybody report this. And God, it's just everything that's wrong with the world. These people, right? Everything. It's like, we're not hate speech. We're not racist. I'm not even going to waste energy explaining why we're not because they know we're not racist. They just don't like that we called out their queen, right? that we have the audacity to tell the truth, that we have the audacity to question this fraudulent fundraiser. How dare you? And all they do is they hide behind racism, right? Because when you're devoid of facts, you just bring up racism, right? You just blame it all on race. But it had nothing to do with racism. It's like, no, you're defrauding people. You're a fraud. So anyway, I'm on the radios. It was a Tuesday. Every Tuesday I'm on the radio in Worcester on 100.1 FM The Pike. I was on there this morning, or yesterday rather. And, I come back home at 9 o'clock. We had a Turtle Office Facebook Messenger, and I think it was Merrimack or North Shore. They were like, what happened to the page? And I'm like, what do you mean? And I go to look for the page is gone. It's gone. I got a notification that it's gone. There was nothing I could do. Now, if it happened today, I think I could get it back because we kind of figured out how to game the system. But back then, we're like, how do we get this back? So I hit the appeal button or whatever. I hear back from Facebook later that day, and they say, we've reviewed your post, and it does not violate the terms of service. It doesn't violate it. However, some might find it offensive. Please understand that. And I'm like, okay, so that's cool. The page is back. Nope, wasn't back. Then I had Michael Graham from the Boston Herald do a podcast with me about it. Howie Carr, Michael Graham contacted Facebook about it. They're like, yep, he was taken down, but it wasn't for the things that he was taken down for. Like, you've seen what we've been taken down for. Like, the profile picture, we weren't even taken down for Dee Dee's blog. We were taken down because our profile picture, which was a Norman Rockwell painting with the Turtle Boy on it on Thanksgiving, they said it was sexually violent. And Facebook's like, no, that's not why. It's like, but you said that's why. There's literally a fucking thing that says this post violates the community standards. But that's what it says. And their terms of service dictate, they specifically say a human being reviews these things. What human being thought that was sexually violent? That's what I'd like to know. What human being? Of course there is no human being. And that's how they're committing fraud, right? They're lying to the public. Now, where are the people holding them accountable? Where's Congress? Congress doesn't know what the fuck's going on, right? They have no clue. Where's my Attorney General, Maura Healey? You know why Maura Healey doesn't care about it? Because they are on the right side of the political, pendulum, right? They kick off conservatives, right? Obviously, Mark Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey are radical leftists, whatever. She's not going to go after them. She's like, this is a platform that my ideology controls. Why would I want to screw that up? So they're corrupt, these people. They're not going to do shit, obviously. Right? And my hope is that Facebook, has a competitor, but I don't see that happening, man. People always just like build a competitor. How the fuck are you going to build a competitor to Facebook that has 2 billion people? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It can't happen. You can't just be like, well, this is mega corporation. You should just beat them. It's like, the fuck you talking? Libertarian motherfucker. Shut up. Right? I'm going to read some comments out. What's Timothy saying? It's Fida Delgado is trash. She exploits simps while leveraging radical protest groups to fund her life. She is a malevolent being whom destroys the veracity of every activist movement she meets. That's a very intellectual way of putting it. That's the thing. It's like Angelique brings up a good point here. She says, I don't think turtle haters or lovers can say that isn't ridiculous. Like when you posted, we love you all. And he got taken down for hate speech. And that's a good point. But I honestly thought that too. I'm like, oh, this is one thing we can all agree on. This is ridiculous. But we've burnt so many bridges, right? And we have so many people that dislike us that they didn't care about the principle that mattered. Nobody cares about principles anymore. They're just like, yes, Turtle Boy is silenced. That's a good thing because I don't like Turtle Boy. But they're not looking at the big picture, right? They're like, what if you get silenced? What about the principle of silencing people that you don't like, that you don't agree with? Do you want that to happen? Because that's what's going to happen. It's just amazing that we live in this society today in which so many people gleefully cheer on censorship. It's fucking embarrassing, right, to live in a country like that, right, where people are just like, oh yeah, censorship, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I mean, they did polls of college students and like the majority want to abolish the First Amendment. It's fucking insane. It's like a crisis, right? People are like, what's your politics? My politics is First Amendment. That's it. Whatever, because that's my livelihood is the First Amendment. Whoever is on the side of free speech is my party. And quite frankly, that's Republicans these days, right? You never see Republicans being like, we should silence everyone. This person should be banned from Facebook, right? Oh, I don't agree with abortion, right? I don't agree with abortion. So we should get rid of the Planned Parenthood site on here. And we should get rid of all these pro-choice groups. You shouldn't be allowed to talk about that. Yeah, you should. You should be allowed to talk about anything, man. Anything. And it's like these people just gleefully cheer it on. It's like, do you not understand that it can't happen to you? And since then, as you know, since that page went down, we had the backup page, the Turtle Boy Sports. It was Lost Boys of Turtle. It had 30,000 people. That lasted a couple more days before it was removed for bullshit. Then there was Turtle Boy Fallout Shelter. Gone. Then there was what do we have? Turtle Boy Refugees was next. Then there was Turtle Boy Safe Space. There was so many Turtle Boy groups. And then we started Turtle Boy Sports Black Lives Matter, hoping that would be like a little more protected. It wasn't. And we would build some up to like 20,000 and gone, you know? It was depressing, man. I was really fucking depressed. Like, it was hard to watch this thing that you built up go to shit over something you had no control over. It killed morale. People started blogging less because they're making less money. Like, I remember just being like, oh, it's never going to fucking end, man. And I'm hardly a sympathetic person, right? Because, we write a blog that fucking is really, really verbal and really, like, I don't want to say attack, but, like, it's not kind to fucking some people, right? And so I'm hardly a sympathetic person. Nobody's going to feel bad for me. And it's like there's no phone number at Facebook to call up. They have billions of dollars. They could hire hundreds of thousands of people to answer phones. But they don't, because Mark Zuckerberg wants to buy another yacht. And he wants to be the richest person in the world. He's a rich white guy who does whatever he wants. And liberals who allegedly hate rich white monopolists cheer him on. It's fucking disgusting. Fucking liberals. Yesterday I ranted about and I'll rant about conservatives too, but yesterday I did libertarians. Today I'm going to talk about liberals. Fucking hypocrites, these people, right? Not Laura, she's cool, but the rest of them are fucking hypocrites, cheering on fucking censorship, right? Talking about how they want to go after big corporations and, white men control everything. Bitch, white men are controlling Facebook and Twitter, and they're fucking billionaires, and they create no jobs. As a study, as a history major, I can tell you, Henry Ford, you know why people were cool with him making so much money? Because he employed millions of people at his plants. He's a job creator. Facebook doesn't create jobs, right? So fuck Facebook, right? And you can't, and so like, people are like, so why don't you sue? Why don't you sue? Well, okay, so I looked into that, obviously. And I've talked to a bunch of lawyers about it, and they're like, first of all, you have to sue in California as part of their terms of service. Those lawyers charge $1,000 an hour, and Facebook would just bury you in discovery. It would cost between $2 and $5 million. We're not going to raise that with a GoFundMe. That's just not happening. People don't like us that much, right? And we would never, obviously, expect that. And so it's like, we can't do that. And so your only option really is a class action attorney, right? Because class actions, you find a bunch of people who have been similarly wronged. You get a class action attorney. So I talked to some class action lawyers about it, pitched it to them. No one took it. And I'm just spending so much time in this. I mean, I guess if I fished for lawyers all day, I could probably find one eventually. But I just don't have time for it. I don't have the energy. I'm running a business here. I don't have time for this shit. And why am I bending over backwards so bad to suck this company's dick that just fucks with us? Like, that's it. Fuck them. Why do you think we're not on Facebook Live right now? Because I'm not sucking Mark Zuckerberg's dick anymore. He can suck mine. You know what I mean? Like, why should I be begging to get on his fucking platform? Fuck your platform. I'm going to take my audience away from your fucking platform. How you like that, bitch? Sure, he's not going to notice it, but if enough people do, he will. And believe me, this will be their downfall. Facebook and Twitter are popular because they were cool. They were fun. If you can't say what you want anymore, it's not fucking cool anymore, is it? All this shit, by the way, is just a reaction to Trump winning. If Hillary had just won like she was supposed to, none of my problems would exist. This is all just a witch hunt to find Russians. That's it. And they have automated bots that just fucking take down pages. You've seen the ridiculous things that we've got taken down for. We don't have to rehash them all. But on Christmas last year, I said, peace, love, and happiness to all. Pornography, taken down. Picture of a Christmas tree, taken down. Right? Happy New Year, taken down. The most ridiculous was in May when we had the police badge for not Michael Chester. There's so many dead cops around here, you can't even keep track anymore. Sean Gannon, right? The Yarmouth police officer, we have his badge up there with the thin blue line. Take it down. Hate speech. Now, where is the media on this? I talked to the Daily Caller about it, and they're like, yeah, Amber Athey, who's a decent person. I don't mind her. I talked to her on the phone about a while. She couldn't believe what I was saying. But then she got a promotion during the middle of, like, the process, and she handed off some fucking moron. And he's like, yeah, well, your site really is a little vile, this and that. I'm like, bitch, you don't believe in the First Amendment either? What kind of fucking fake-ass conservative are you? A little bitch millennial conservatives. Don't get me started on young conservatives either, okay? There's nothing worse than a young conservative who's going to lecture you about life and all this shit. Bitch, you don't know life. You're fucking 23. Like Charlie Kirk and some of these people, right? Even Candace Owens to an extent, who I used to kind of like, is kind of a joke, right? I like intellectual people. I like Ben Shapiro. I like Matt Walsh. I like deep thinkers. Those are my kind of conservatives, right? I don't like these flash-in-the-pan conservatives that like make a name for themselves because they got a blue check mark and they said something really fucking, or they own the libs on social media and they got a bunch of retweets. Not really my kind of fucking intellectual. Thomas Sowell, absolutely. That's my kind of conservative right there. Deep thinkers, right? I don't know Dan Flynn, but I'll have to check him out. Maybe I'll like him, okay? Facebook's popularity is declining with the youth. It's very apparent. But I'll tell you what scares me is people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, right? I God forbid this actually represents what the future looks like. Because people like that are the ones that subscribe to this idea that hate speech is dangerous and it should be banned, right? Everything they don't like is racist. And that frightens me a little bit. These nut jobs. Because they're not smart people. But they're very good at getting elected and she's so woke on social media, isn't she? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, so woke, And how about that time that we catfished Facebook? Did you guys read that blog in February? We had Gavin McInnes, by the way. Oh, Gavin McInnes, that's another good one. I mean, Gavin McInnes founded the Proud Boys, which has turned into arguably a violent racist group, whatever. I don't want to get into the Proud Boys too much. But he's also the founder of Vice, which is like one of the most liberal websites on the internet. But he's banned from everything. And thank you for bringing him up and Alex Jones up and some of these other people up. Because here's the thing. You don't just get banned from one. You get banned from them all. When Alex Jones got suspended, he got suspended from Facebook, Spotify, all of them on the same fucking day. All of them. That's collusion, right? And so don't just say, oh, you just go to another fucking platform. Bitch, they all kick me off. All of them. The fuck's he supposed to do? Now, I'm not defending Alex Jones. I'm defending his right to speak, though. I don't agree with anything he says. I think not anything he says. A lot of the things he says is fucking crazy. Like, obviously, the Sandy Hook false flag shit is indefensible, right? It's so insensitive and terrible to say, right? But as disgusting as that speech is, he has a right to say it. And I'm just not going to go to his Facebook page. It's that fucking simple. They've already given us the tools. You can just block people you don't like. You know what I mean? But they insist on just silencing you. And he wasn't just silenced by them. He was silenced by everyone. The one platform that didn't silence him was Twitter. And then he got suspended a month later because he went to the Judge Kavanaugh hearings and he's, Linda Sarsour and all these Alyssa Milanos are getting kicked out of the hearings by protesting and blah, blah, blah. And they're causing a huge scene. Well, he doesn't even get inside it. He's outside and he sees Oliver Darcy, who is a reporter from CNN who's been trying to deplatform him. And he goes up to him and he just, have you guys seen the Alex Jones, Oliver Darcy video? Because it's fucking hilarious. He just goes full crazy on Oliver Darcy. Full conspiracy theory. You're the Illuminati. Yeah. What are you doing over at CNN? You're working at the conglomerates over there. Trying to silence speech. Yeah, I know your game, Oliver Darcy. Yeah, you're a fraud. Yeah, all this shit. It was hilarious. And he periscoped it on Twitter. And for that, he was banned for bullying. But yet Linda Sarsour can literally bully Judge Kavanaugh and get arrested and get kicked out, and she's allowed on Twitter. But Alex Jones isn't? The fuck kind of shit is that? And people cheered it on. Why? Because Alex Jones is an easy person to hate. And a lot of people are on the right were like, yep, that's a good thing. Now, conservatives, fuck them with their bullshit with like, well, I don't believe in government, you know, I mean, they're kind of like libertarians. They just don't smoke pot. Like, I don't believe that government should like come in and do this and that. Why the fuck not? You're just surrendering the public square to liberals? What kind of pussy shit is that? Fake ass conservatives. Their conservatives' obsession with like the government is evil is bizarre because conservatives make up half the government. Like half of Congress is conservative. So you hate yourselves? That doesn't make any sense. The government isn't evil, man. Like the government built my roads and shit. They plow them. They take care of sidewalks. They provide free public schools for me to go to, send my kids. There's a fucking library I can go to read a book. There's a post office. All this shit. The government pays for this shit. Those are all good things, right? Anybody have a problem with that? Because I don't. I don't have a problem with police and fire existing. This idea that like all, you know, government is bad. So my point here is that like to say that the government shouldn't become involved in Facebook, why the fuck not? It's broken. It needs to be fixed. The government has the power to do it. The fact that they sucked this guy's dick, Mark Zuckerberg, when they brought him in there, it was like royalty. Oh, thank you for coming to Mr. Washington, Mark Zuckerberg. Fuck that. Why are they making him feel so powerful? Why does he get a fucking meeting with Macron over in France? Right? He's a fucking business owner. They should be threatening him. But they just suck his dick. That's all they do. It's bizarre. We got Fupa Computer going on? Yeah. Yeah, we can smoke the Master Jedi whenever you want, Timothy, if you're ever up in the Holden area. What are people saying? It's the media we have to worry about. These people are fired up. 2020 will be a cakewalk for Trump. It will be like the 1912 election all over again. I don't know about that. The 1912 election was a divided election. Woodrow Wilson won that election with 41% of the vote because Teddy Roosevelt came along, who, by the way, God, he's my favorite president ever. Teddy Roosevelt was a Republican who believed in government regulation the right way. We have national parks today because of him, because of government regulation. We can't just chop all the trees down. So Teddy Roosevelt, who was a Republican, shows up, tries to get the nomination, doesn't get it, forms a Bull Moose party, and him and Taft, the Republican candidate, split the vote. They each get 25. Wilson walks into the office with 42%. So I don't think it's going to be anything like 1912 because there will only be two candidates. There won't be a third party. I think Trump will win depending on the candidate. The only candidate who can beat Trump right now and who will, mark my words, will beat Trump is Beto O'Rourke. You better fucking hope that the Democrats aren't smart enough to nominate that motherfucker. Because that motherfucker's going to win. I'll tell you that much right now. And he will win by a lot. You know why? Because he's fucking cool. That's all you have to be is cool, man. That's how cool is why Obama won and Hillary lost. Because you got to be fucking cool. Right? I voted for Obama because he's fucking cool. I'm not going to lie. I thought he was cool. Call it immature, call it ill-informed. I voted for him largely because he was fucking cool. That's it. I also wanted to switch up the parties. I don't like when one party runs the country for too long, right? But none of these other Democrats are cool. Liz Warren, miss, you know, hold on one moment. I'm going to go grab me a beer. Oh, hey, my husband's home. What are you doing here? I live here, bitch. Oh, okay. Would you like a beer? No, bitch, we don't drink beer. Why the fuck are you acting like you drink beer? So she's not cool, right? Who else isn't cool? Like Hillary obviously was not cool at all. Joe Biden is borderline cool, but he's getting old man creepy cool at the same time. It's not the same kind of cool. Bernie Sanders is not cool. He's just a lunatic. None of these people are cool. Except for Beto. He will win. Mark my word. If he gets the nomination, it's game over. Trump can beat any other Democrat with his eyes closed. He will lose to Beto O'Rourke. Do we hate Beto? Honestly, Beto is not nearly as bad as a lot of liberals, right? Because he is from a border state. He represents El Paso, right? He's from a red state. These red state Democrats are a lot better than the blue state ones because they have to be a little bit more moderate, right? And so he's not nearly as bad as Elizabeth Warren, but he will win. Dukakis tried to be cool, though. That was a little bit, I mean, I was like 6 years old when Dukakis happened, but yeah. Anyway, what else are people saying? Let's see. Any other questions? I wasn't president in 1912. No. Calvin Coolidge became president in 1923. He was in office from 1923 to 1929. The only reason he became president was because Warren G. Harding, who, by the way, Warren Harding was the first black president in American history. Okay? He was 1/16th black, which is just slightly less than what Obama was. Slightly. And that was kind of controversial thing. This guy had an ounce of, African-American blood in him. But he was also probably the most corrupt and terrible person we've ever elected to the office of president, right? He had sex with so many chicks, banged them all the time, knocked one of them up who was like 19, his fucking PR people had to hide his mistresses. Warren G. Harding couldn't survive Twitter, right? Thank God he was around back in 1920. No way he would have fucking made it out. But because he was so absurd, he needed a likable vice president to run with. So he ran with Calvin Coolidge, who never said a fucking word. They call him Silent Cal. And then Warren G. Harding died in 1923. A lot of people think he fucking might have, had an accident, but that's another story. And that's how Calvin Coolidge became president. And he literally did nothing. That was his big thing. I plan on doing nothing. And he let the economy roar throughout the roaring 20s. And then he left on a high note in 1929 and the stock market crashed. So that's Calvin Coolidge's history. I'm telling you, man, we could do history lessons whenever you people want. Maybe I'll do a whole history podcast series or like a book on this. Would you guys like that? Yeah, I feel like that would be, because I'm at my best when I'm just ranting and I'm like really on focus and I'm talking about something I'm passionate about. And ultimately, free speech and history, those two things, that's my previous passion and my current one. So maybe that could be like the next book. We'll see. So, anyway, yeah, I'm glad you guys like history, man. It was not like this in class when I taught. It was not like this in class. It was like a lot of fucking, I'd be teaching history in the same manner, just with less F words. And you're just looking out at the kids, and like a couple of them are looking at you and taking notes. And the rest of them, man, they're sleeping. You're trying to wake them up. They're looking out in La La Land. They don't give a shit about anything you're saying. Nice kids. They just didn't care. It's like, you can't teach 16-year-olds about history because they just don't give a shit. You cannot make a 16-year-old give a shit about history. That's one thing I found out. I thought I would be able to. I'm like, I'm young. I'm enthusiastic. I won't be like Mr. Hand. I'll come in here and be like, offer some cool lessons. They'll like me. Nope. They don't give a shit. Unless you're talking about like, where's the keg party this weekend? They're interested in that. You forget what it's like to be 16. Yeah. So, nobody liked Hoover. Yeah, and Calvin he was from Vermont initially, but he was the governor of Massachusetts, and he actually became famous because there was a police strike in Boston in 1919, and that motherfucker fired everyone. And people respected him for that because he's like, you cannot strike against the state. So, kind of fucking with that. But anyway, definitely Drunk History. Yeah, Drunk History is a good fucking show sometimes. Yeah, maybe we'll start doing that. Yeah, he never represented Vermont. He grew up in Vermont, but he did not represent them. He actually is from Amherst. That is actually where Calvin Coolidge is from. I lived in Coolidge Dormitory at UMass Amherst. It's named after him, obviously. So anyway, I don't think Laura liked American history. Well, it's just a little awkward with Laura, obviously, because, there was not one, but two wars. And we're undefeated against them. A little bit awkward, right? I wonder, can I ask Laura something? If you could have America as a colony, would you want it? That's what I would want to know. Like, how is that viewed in Britain today? Like, you guys look at that as like the one that got away? You're like, oh, that America? Yeah, they're like number one now. Remember we used to control those bitches? Oh, damn motherfuckers. Oh, they got us. Ironically, we got them because we had like immigration was just fucking welcomed in this country, right? Like we just everybody come over on boats, and immigrants literally built the fucking country. And so that's how we became a fucking powerhouse, is because we had unfiltered immigration. That's how we fucking passed Britain, right? Eventually, we became cool with them because we realized, hey, you know what? We actually speak the same language. Literally, you just have a funky accent. But our values are generally the same. So, fuck Germany. How about that? Like, yeah, fuck Germany. And that became the new enemy. And fuck Russia. All right? That's American history in a nutshell. Anyway, I could be our local Dan Carlin. You mean George Carlin? I could definitely be him, I think. You don't want, Laura says she doesn't want it. She doesn't want it. All right, so that's a big no. Pick one day a week and let's do a decade of American history. It's like, yeah, I mean, we could definitely do that. Maybe we'll have like a Wednesday history day or something. We'll see. Anyway, so that's like Facebook. I kind of got a little off topic there, but you guys get the point, man. It's the purpose of this book, and you saw the economic damage that it did, right? Like the amount of people, it hurt at first. It definitely did. But now I don't even give a shit, to be perfectly honest with you. Like we were averaging, 80, 90,000 people a day. Now we're averaging between 60 and 70. Not so fucking bad when you think about it. Like we fill up Gillette Stadium every single day. It's like having a home Patriots game every day. I'll fucking take it, man. It ain't bad. The bigger problem, though, is Google AdSense. That's who fucked us, right? Because even if we had the Facebook page back and traffic slightly increased, and by the way, more people go directly to the site now than through social media, which is awesome. Double the amount of people, actually. Last year, 8 million people went directly to the site. But even if we got it back, it wouldn't solve that much economically because we make, when we first started, we would get local advertisers, right? And they would pay $300 or $400 a month flat fee to be on the site, make a few $1,000s, pay the bills, go on. But, those local advertisers get harassed. I'm not a salesman. I don't want to keep calling them. I'm busy and shit. It wasn't a model that was built to last. And so I'm like, what I need is like an ad network. I just need ads to appear on my site. And then the middleman takes a percentage. And because I'm not calling up Pepsi or like, some fucking Cabela's or whatever and getting them to advertise on my site. I don't have those kind of connections. I just need a third party. That's what an ad network is. So in 2016, we started using an ad network and they take 20% and we keep 80. Now we were making back then, I want to say like $4 for every 1,000 page views. So if we're getting 4 million page views in a month and we're making $4 for every 1,000, that's like $16,000 I think we made in April. That's nice. I'll take that. Okay. Now keep in mind there's also hosting, and I have bills to pay too. Hosting bills. I got to pay out all the bloggers because keep in mind they get paid per page count, per page view, right? So that's fine. As long as the rate is $4. If that slips to $3, right, then you're losing 25% of your income. If that slips to $2, then you're losing 50% of your income. Right now, we're making $1 for every 1,000 pages. So we're literally making a quarter of the rate that we were back then. So advertising can no longer be our primary source of revenue. Why? Because we are blacklisted from Google AdSense. And Facebook and Twitter have been bad to us. Nobody's been worse to us than Google. Google is more powerful than all of them combined. Google is the world's search engine, right? Facebook will go out of business before them. I can guarantee you that. And they have blacklisted us for no reason. We haven't done anything wrong because people mass report us. They just mass report us. You can report on ads on a site, right? If you see an ad on a site, whatever, you just report it to Google AdSense. Say the site that this appeared on, pornographic, whatever. Which brings up another thing, like, not that I would know, but y'all know porn sites, right? There's no shortage of ads on porn sites. So I'm like thinking, how the fuck? That's what I need. I need advertisers that aren't afraid to appear on porn sites. Although my mother won't like it, but that's okay. She'll get over it, right? And yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. So we just have to come up with new ways to make money. We've done that with like, obviously the donation button. That's why we graciously appreciate your donations, because I've literally lost fucking 75% of my fucking livelihood. Plus the loss of traffic. So it's really like I'm probably making 15 to 20% of what I was making last year on ads. That's it. So I got to get creative. I got to get the podcast sponsored. I tried to get that done, right? Thank you, Garage Doors Plus. You've been very helpful. I got Shiva advertising on there. I got Guerreri Jewelers advertising on there. And Guerreri Jewelers and Shiva, those are the kind of advertisers I need because they don't give a fuck, right? I need people that believe in free speech and want to stand up to the mob. Those are the kind of businesses I need. I can't have pussy businesses on my site. I can't have it, man. If you own a business and you're worried about somebody like leaving a negative review on your page and you freak out over it and you call me, don't advertise with us. It ain't going to work out. Not going to work out. I need the kind of advertisers that understand that, like, if you come to us, we will send a lot of people your way. We outnumber them. But there will be a very vocal minority who will make it seem like opposition to Turtleboy is much larger than it is. That's what these people are good at. They're good at making it seem like everybody fucking hates Turtleboy. It's universally understood that they're fucking disgusting. But we all know that's not the truth, right? Everybody likes Turtleboy. When I was in fucking court today, the bailiff came up to me afterwards and talked to me about it. He's just like a big fan, man. Big fan. I guarantee the fucking judges read Turtleboy before. I guarantee it. Everybody reads it. Everybody likes it. The only people who don't like it are terrible. I mean, that's the only way to describe it. You've never, ever, ever seen somebody say something negative about Turtleboy Sports who isn't a terrible human being. That's it. You saw the Kibbies today. Those people suck. There's no other way around it. I don't want them as fans because they suck. I'd be embarrassed to say that they read the blog. I don't want them reading the blog. I don't like them. I would prefer if they went and read the Huffington Post, quite frankly. Right? Where we can't tell our friends and coworkers we are followers. But why? And that's a thing, Athena. You can. You really can. Right? Because you'd be surprised. I'm telling you. A lot of people are worried about like, oh man, if I wore this Turtleboy hoodie out, people are going to say negative things. I wore that shit everywhere, man. I get nothing but compliments. Nothing. No one's ever said anything negative. You will be so surprised where you go. Everybody fucking loves Turtleboy. Why wouldn't you? Look who we take down. Look at the work we've done. And we're like, we are the American dream, man. We are the American spirit. We built this company out of nothing, from fucking scratch. Right? Built it up. We're taking down the Massachusetts State Police, for crying out loud. Taking on terrible people like Greg Bates. Not taking down, exposing him at least. Right? Like Rian Waters, like Michael Gaffney. Right? We make a difference in the world. And that's what Chapter 18 was all about. All the positive things we've had. Those are all good things, man. If you don't think those things are good things, you're a terrible person. I don't like you. Go away. Yeah, it's people mention Reddit. I'm banned from Reddit. Oh, so Athena's a teacher. How public education is. So Athena, I'm telling you though, I don't know what school you're at, but teachers especially love Turtleboy. You'd be so surprised. Obviously, you can't be too loud about it, but talk to a teacher one-on-one. I guarantee they read it. Every teacher at North High School has read Turtleboy. We've been very good to teachers. I wrote a blog personally today that was very pro-teacher. Not this one teacher in particular, because she's an embarrassment from Providence, but others. Reddit, people like Reddit, I'm banned from Reddit. Fuck, Reddit's even worse, man. Redditors are the biggest fucking homos on the internet. I thought like Reddit was like some type of 4chan where you go on there and people are just like, yeah, free speech, whatever. No, it's a bunch of fucking pussies. Everybody on Reddit seems to hate Turtleboy. And I don't know who anyone is, which leads me to believe that it's just a bunch of fucking douchebags on there. We're banned from Reddit. We had a subreddit on there. They deleted it. I don't even really understand how Reddit works that much. I tried it. Fuck Reddit. So, yeah. Yeah, Google owns YouTube. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so you're right. Google does own YouTube, and we're on YouTube right now, right? But the thing about YouTube is, and we've talked about this, the worst they're going to do to me is demonetize me. They're not going to kick me off their platform. And that's fine because I'm not making shit anyway. You don't see any ads on here. So whatever. I just want to talk. That's all I want to do. I just want to fucking talk. I want to have a platform. And Facebook and Twitter won't give me that platform. But if YouTube will, that's fine. I don't want their money. I just want to talk. If I go to the page 10 times, does that count as 10 page views? It does. It does count as 10 page views, but, you know, I don't waste your time doing that because, you know, it would make me hardly any money at all. Like $1,000, I'm making $1. So thank you for the offer, but it's definitely not worth your time. Yeah. What else are people saying? I'm going to go back and read all these comments later, but you need to know your people, though. Yeah, I know we work with people, and they would systematically be let go. I have one coworker who's on Facebook and doesn't know Turtleboy, and I'm bringing her the book. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Broadcasting shit in AM. Yeah. Yeah, so I really appreciate you guys coming on there. I don't get Reddit either. Go on there. I'm like, I don't get how this shit works. How do you, like, go viral? Like, how the fuck does this work? You just get a bunch of upvotes? I don't get it. I understand that you want to go on the front page. That's obviously a good thing. But I don't get it. Oh, so 40% of Reddit users are in euros. That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Silent Cal says he likes Reddit. I mean, I'm banned from there, so I don't love it. You know, what can I say? Teachers love it. I know my Agriform friends do. Absolutely, man. I'm in Denver. You know, there are excessive. Yeah, exactly. I'm so happy that we're spreading all over the world, too. Yeah. Cool. All right. Any other questions? I mean, chapter 20, we're not going to get too into that. It's basically just about the future and the plans. Read it if you haven't already, but we've kind of talked about some of those. Coming very shortly should be our paid subscription, so you can get like $10 a month, and you get no ads that way, which is going to be fucking better because the site loads slowly. I'm also making an investment in the near future with these guys, these tech guys out in Boston, and basically they did an audit on the site, and they're like, your site out of 100 scores a 7 on speed. 7 out of 100. It's like as bad as you get. It takes forever to load. And he's like showing me analytics, and he's like, yeah, see this? Like 50% of people that come to your site leave within 10 seconds. 10 fucking seconds. A lot of people just go there, they're like, fucking, fuck this, I'm out of here. Right? And he's like, that costs you money because then the ads don't load that way. You know what I mean? And so he's like, so I'm paying these guys to go in there and just fucking take care of everything. Make it speedy, make it fast, right? That's what I want. And then from there, we're going to try, I got a salesman that I'm bringing on, and we're going to try to take over the world. That's going to be the new goal here, is just make it better for you guys because the product sucks, man. I hate how, like, you go to this shit, and, man, talk about Fupa computer, and see this shit did not secure? That's a problem, too, right? See this? How the text is hidden there? The fuck's up with that? I don't know. Why are there 2 things here? I don't fucking know. See how the computer's slowing down now a little bit? What the fuck is this thing? A lot of people know, like, that's shady. All this shit needs to be fixed. So I'm going to be making an investment and hopefully getting this shit fixed because this is ridiculous. Ridiculous. All right. Yeah, hopefully the reward is worth it. Yeah, the pop-up ads are rough. I don't mind having a scroll. Yeah, I mean, it's a little slow. You know, a little slow. Oh, thank you. Late to the show tonight. I set up a small monthly PayPal donation. Hey, I really appreciate that, guys. I really appreciate you guys understanding the bind that we're in. And, like, I'm embarrassed to, like, ask for money because I've never been that guy. But I see other platforms doing it and people having Patreons and stuff, too. Like, you know, bigger people than me. You know, Dave Rubin, the Rubin Report has it. And I just understand that that's the world that we're living in. Right? That's the world that we're living in. There's no other way around it. If these tech companies deplatform you, then people, you know, they have to support free speech by unfortunately paying for it. Yeah, like Maury says, it has to be HTTPS. It's not that, exactly. So I got to make that secure. It's a whole thing. I'm hiring a guy to do it. But yeah. Anyway, you guys have any last minute questions before we call it a night? You sound like a ratchet on a GoFundMe. I do? That's not good. Wikipedia asks, yeah, that's the thing. Wikipedia asks for donations. I've seen other people do it. And that's the thing. With the ratchets on the GoFundMes, the big difference, of course, is that they don't give you something in return. If you pay us, you get a service. You get blogs. You get hot takes. If we stop existing, those things will no longer be there. So you're making an investment in real news. So there you go. What are we doing? Let's see. You think Gaffney is mad that Ryan dropped the case today? You know he wrote all those claims. Yeah. No, I don't think Gaffney's mad about it because he dropped the case against her. Gaffney doesn't give a fuck about her. Gaffney cares about me. So, yeah. Let's see. Pat's score. Okay. Definitely think the Patriots going to win this weekend. It's going to be a fucking awesome game, though, man. This is the best challenge we've had in the divisional round ever. Right? I mean, who's given, since maybe the Broncos in 2005 when they beat us. This team is 12-4, man. They have a Hall of Fame quarterback. They have a really good defense. Right? I don't know. The Ravens scared me a little more because they wouldn't be scared of us. But I don't know if these guys are going to be that scared of us either. Phillip Rivers is balls, man. This guy's balls. But I think we win. I think we win a close game like 24-21. I think, and this is my hot take of the week for sports guys, I think the Colts are going to beat the Chiefs. I do. The Colts have won like fucking 11 out of 12. And their defense is phenomenal. And Patrick Mahomes makes stupid mistakes in critical times. He's awesome. But Andrew Luck is a more seasoned quarterback. And I think the Colts are going to win that, which is going to be great because there's no way we're losing to the Colts in the AFC Championship, especially if we get to host it. On the NFC side, I know a lot of people are saying they like them Cowboys to maybe upset or the Eagles. I don't see it, man. I think the Saints and the Rams are vastly superior to everyone. I think the Saints cannot lose at home, and they will not lose at home. And it will be Saints, Patriots, Super Bowl, 2 Hall of Famers, and Drew Brees and Tom Brady going at it. For the first time since Super Bowl against the Rams, we will be an underdog, probably by 3 or 4 points. And it will be fucking magical. It will be fucking awesome. I cannot wait for Patriots Saints Super Bowl. That's what's going to happen right now. Rivers is only 0-2 against Brady, actually. He's 5-5. Oh, I apologize. In the regular season, in the playoffs, he's lost twice. So he's 5-5 all time in the playoffs, right? But against Brady, he's 0-2. 0-2. 14-point underdog. Give me a break. Who's your favorite Turtle Boy villain? Oh, come on. That's a tough one, man. I don't even know. I mean, we're talking humorous ones. Ooh, Celia was a great one. I loved Celia. So many ratchets, man. I'd have to go back and think. That's a tough question. You need to give me more preparedness time to do that. I'm scared of the Colts. I ain't scared of the Colts. I don't want to go into Kansas City, but I think that would work out for us well if we play them. Fly, Eagles, fly. I mean, I'll tell you one thing. If the fucking Eagles keep winning and they don't trade Carson Wentz, they're fucking stupid. What the fuck are you getting rid of Big Dick Foles for? You insane? He's 29 years old. He's young. He never fucking loses in the playoffs ever. I'd love it if they did. Yeah. Does this mean Ryan pays child support and Sam gets sole custody? Sam's always had sole custody. And Ryan doesn't pay dick in child support. He's never going to. Because he doesn't have a job. Oh, okay. Thank you, David. You were joking. I apologize. Let's see. Any other ones? Where did the Emerson name came from? It was really simple. When we were, and it kind of talk about this in the book, I'm like, I realized, I'm like, people know when I got in trouble when I was posting under my real name at school, I'm like, well, with Turtle Boy, you just need like an alias. What should I do? So I called up my buddy. He's been on the Facebook Live show before. He goes as, what do we call him? Dr. Stevenson. He hasn't been on in a long time. But Dr. Stevenson told me, he's like, yeah, you need to just come up with the waspiest name possible. And thus Clarence Woods Emerson was born. Yeah. Anything else? Let's see. Let's see. Anything else? Oh, you should really go back and put the link to the book on Amazon in the comments top in the description. I don't know how to do that. I did it in Facebook Live, but I don't know how to do it here. I'll take Wentz. You're crazy. Wentz, all he does is get hurt. That's it. The mean TB villain, the mean Halloween Snapchat of East Hampton man. Oh, forgot about that. Oh, man, that chick. That was an old school one, man. East Hampton loved us because of what we did for that guy. All right. Let's see. What was the reaction to your lawyer when you first asked to represent? Yeah, I mean, he knew who Turtleboy was. And I think he's enjoying the case, man. A bunch of lawyers came up to him today because they knew he was, like, representing Turtleboy. And he's just like, yeah. Like, he was almost had, like, a smile, like, yeah, my job is interesting today. My job is fun. A lot of these lawyers are doing mundane, boring shit in court. You get to have a fun case. Yeah. Let's see. What's happening with TB News? Well, that URL is gone, but we do have another website coming called TB Daily News. We just haven't published on it yet, but it definitely exists. Kids spend 10 minutes, figure it out. All right. Wentz and Jimmy G always hurt. Absolutely. You wrote a Chumpalump once. Each live is a different show and description. Yeah, I didn't create this YouTube channel. I got another guy that made this for me. Tech Turtleboy. I'll have to talk to him about it. Because I have no fucking clue how this works. I have a bad feeling about the Pats. Just saying. I mean, let's be honest. If the Patriots lose on Sunday, it's not going to be surprising. It won't hurt as much as other losses. Because the team's not that good this year. I mean, that's the fact of the matter. Think about the teams we lost to. By the way, all 5 of our losses, all 5 of them, not a single one of those teams made the playoffs. Not fucking one. Isn't that crazy? That the Titans didn't make the playoffs. They were the closest ones. The Steelers didn't make the playoffs. Actually, the Steelers were the closest ones. God knows the Lions didn't make it. The Jaguars didn't make it. And who the fuck is our 5th loss to? Someone terrible. Oh, the Dolphins. None of those teams made the playoffs, right? So if we lost, I guess it would be like, well, just weren't that fucking good this year. But we are undefeated against playoff teams. I think it was like 4-0 we went against. Like, name the playoff teams that the Patriots beat this year. They won at Chicago, which is a very underrated win because the Bears went 12-4 and we went in there and we fucking whooped them. We beat them good, right? We beat the Colts, who were a playoff team. A lot of people forget that win against the Colts. We beat the Kansas City Chiefs, right? That counts. We beat, who the fuck else did we beat? We beat one other playoff team, I feel like. Right? I feel like there was one more. Either way. Well, Chiefs was at home that we beat them. Yeah. Miami was a fluke. It really was a fluke. You know, it really was a fluke. The defense sucks, but you know what more? The defense it's a recurring theme with the Patriots, right? Like, they haven't had a really good defense since Ty Law was around. Like, those old school Patriots teams. Those were great defenses. The 2014 team was good just because we got Revis and he was a freak show. But besides that, I mean, we just have to win in spite of the defense every year. It's always the big question mark. But you know what? Whose defense doesn't suck? The Chargers, I guess, are a good defense. But the 2 best defenses, the Ravens and the Bears, are gone. They're done. The Rams defense, somehow they have like the biggest names. They all suck. The Saints are the Saints. The Cowboys have a good defense. That's a defense that scares me, but it's the fucking Cowboys. They're not going to make the Super Bowl anyway, right? The Eagles defense sucks. All these defenses suck. God knows the Kansas City Chiefs defense blows. Yeah. Anyway, this ain't bend, don't break. Yeah, this is just broken. Yeah, I mean, well, it's getting better. This J.C. Jackson guy's not bad. He's a nice plug-in. Better than Batamosi. God knows that. The linebackers suck. I can't watch these Patriots linebackers. They're fucking slow and fat. You know what Landon Roberts is really good at? Stopping a fullback dive. That's like his expertise. Like, if you come up the hole and he's standing in the hole, he's going to tackle you. That's fucking solid. But if you get to the outside, he ain't catching you. And God knows he can't do anything in pass coverage. And that's what you got to do as linebackers. You look at the Cowboys linebackers. You look at Jalen Smith and Vander Booger, the rookie that they got there. Those guys are fucking fast, man. Or those Jacksonville guys. Or Bud Dupree from the Steelers. You look at these guys, you're like, those guys are fucking fast, man. That's what you need in the NFL. You need fast linebackers. We don't have that shit. We have one pass rusher in Flowers. That's it. No one else can get to the quarterback. So, yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. Anyway, I'm glad we got to talk a little sport ball. We got to talk about everything tonight. We did history. We did Facebook. We did lawsuits. You know, we did sport ball. We did everything. So, yeah, but Lee's getting old too. You know, Lee in his prime, definitely. But tell you, that Jalen Smith character, man, I'm a Notre Dame fan. That guy's fucking awesome. I think he might be the best linebacker in football. He's fucking amazing to watch that guy. So, folks, why don't we call it? You're going to be on tomorrow. Now, we're going to take it easy tomorrow. We'll be back for live because that's the end of book club. But definitely going to have, starting next week, we're going to do a daily podcast review. I just need a break from this for now. But we'll be back with live this weekend and probably going to do Sunday night. Probably. Yeah. So just because of the, I like football. I want to watch that Rams Cowboys game on Saturday night. So I'll be watching that. I don't know about you people, but all right, folks, I'm really glad you guys liked it. I really love doing this. So we love coming on in here and talking to you great people. And it was only supposed to be a half an hour show, but here we are, right? And we will see you all this weekend for live. Have a great night, Turtle Riders.